today, wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world, this is Wendy Hutchinson. I just wanted to check in with you all and see how you're all doing. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a beautiful day. I have been observing so much, throughout this whole coronavirus situation. So much is coming up, so much emotion is coming up for people. And what I'm really noticing is so much judgment. And it's been really interesting to observe. I see people turning on each other on Facebook because they have differing political opinions or opinions, good morning Amanda, or opinions about current events, opinions about wearing a mask or not wearing a mask around the coronavirus, opinions about each other. People are judging each other so harshly, and really it seems our judgment is, hey Juliana, our judgment is so rooted in our value system. So I think everybody wants to be validated in the choices that they make and the decisions that they're choosing for themselves and their families. And so everybody wants people to agree with them and validate what they're doing and what their perspectives are, right? Everybody wants everyone to be on their team. But here's the truth about it. Everybody has a different set of values. Everybody has a different history, and everybody has their own stuff that is triggered by current events. Whether it's something relational with the people around us, whether it's around uncertainty and insecurity around your health or your financial status, or basically whatever it is. Everybody is going through something, and everybody is going to feel a lot of emotion and be triggered by different events, different things that are placed in their path, whether it's a Facebook post or something they read in the paper or an interaction they have with someone in their family. We're all getting triggered all the time, and the reason we're being triggered and the reason we're feeling judgment around these things is because there's something within us going on. It always 100% of the time comes back to us. So what I'm finding is we're a society, and we're so programmed to always look externally and be outraged by things or blame people or blame situations or get angry when people aren't on our agenda. And really, what those people are doing is playing the role they've agreed to play for us. They trigger things in us. They trigger emotions in us so that we can, in turn, go in and get curious and examine what exactly is being stirred up within us, right? I don't know. Maybe it's 100% of the time, really, actually, I do know. It's staying in our alignment and standing in our truth. Always aligning with our truth, whatever that is and whatever that is about. Okay? Because what happens is we get really defensive, right? When we are making decisions that aren't aligned with maybe public opinion, maybe aren't aligned with our truth, when we know what our truth is, right? Or especially when it comes to people in our lives, we get really defensive. Because like I said, we want to be accepted, and we want to be heard, and we want to be validated. So what I want to offer today, I'm sorry, my hair's in my face. What I want to offer today is perspective. Okay, a different perspective around the judgment that we're projecting out and the judgment that is being projected on us all the time by people we care about. And so I'm just going to deep dive right in. What is the judgment about? I think, hey Jamie, I think judgment, honestly, is our way of protecting ourselves, because we don't feel strong enough in our alignment, and we don't love ourselves enough to stand up for our truth and to stand up for ourselves. So we spend a lot of energy and time trying to convince people to get on our team or to come on over to our perspective. And the truth is, that's not why these situations and these people and these events are coming up in our lives. Everybody is here to play a role. Every single person is here to play a role. And I just had this realization this past week as I was kind of reflecting on myself and wondering, why is it that I don't respond to a similar situation the same as someone else? You know, I'm usually super chill, I'm super calm, I'm super balanced, and I really see a broader perspective and a higher perspective around everything and everyone. So I don't tend to get as emotionally triggered about things. So as I was reflecting on this and really going deeper, because that's what I do, I go down the rabbit hole, you know, I realized that we're all different. We're all here on earth to play a different role and to be who we came here to be. And sometimes those roles change depending on the circumstance or the people in our lives. But we're not here. I used to think I always needed to be like happy and positive and look at the bright side, and I needed to always focus on the sunshine. You know, I used to always think if you were a good person, that you always needed to be over here in this gradient of joy and positivity and inspiration or whatever, right? So I was always trying to sway myself over like a unicorn, right? What do unicorns do? All they do is play and dance and fart rainbows, and you know, that's what unicorns do. They're always in the light, right? But what I realized is there's a full spectrum that we need to embrace for ourselves, because we're all of it. There are really dark elements to us. There are things that we've done that we are ashamed of. We have negative thoughts. We judge people, right? So there's this whole spectrum of, you know, unicorn in the light over here, and then like kind of a dark bitch over here on the other side. And we're all of it. We're all of it. And when people show up in our lives and trigger us, maybe that's a signpost or a guidepost for us to really look at, okay, what is that dark feeling we're having? What is it about ourselves? What aspect of ourselves is being triggered, and why aren't we embracing that part of us? It's being triggered so we can look at it, right? So anyway, as I did this deep exploration, I've always known that I need to really slide along the scale of light and dark, because we're human. We're not meant to just be in this unicorn bandwidth all the time. Sometimes we have to slide to the dark and set boundaries and be a badass and stand in our power to set boundaries so people respect us. And then sometimes we need to show up with love and compassion and kindness. The key really is to try to maintain a balance on that scale and know when it's appropriate to slide left or right, and also to embrace all aspects of ourselves. But the perspective I really wanted to give today was not only about that, but also to talk about the fact that every single person is here for a purpose on this earth. And what people do for other people by showing up as themselves is trigger growth, trigger emotion. Okay, so for example, when you see a homeless person on the street, you feel something, right? You either feel compassion, or you reach in your wallet, or you feel disgust, or you are absolutely judgmental and angry about that homeless person approaching your car, that homeless person has chosen to have this experience in their life. Everything is a choice. We come into this earth school for experience and soul growth. We choose our lives. I know a lot of people are in a victim mindset and don't see that. But the choices we make lead us to the reality we're creating in our lives. 100%. You can agree or disagree, but 100%. We are right here where we are in our lives because of the choices we've made, good or bad. So, and there's no judgment around it. We are learning about ourselves continually through living our lives and through this process. We are a work in progress, you know? But the point I wanted to make is every single person has a right to do what resonates and feels aligned for them. And we may not agree with it. So if somebody wants to wear a mask in public, I think that's great. I wear a mask in public. That's something I feel I want to do for my community and for myself. You know, I wear a mask. I stay home a lot. That's just what I do. But there are other people who are running around town with no masks. And, you know, I've heard of encounters where people are very hostile towards each other, whether you're wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. But the truth is, everybody is here doing what they feel is aligned for them. And we need to allow that because we have no control over what other people do. We might have strong opinions about it. We might be angry about it. But we ultimately only have 100% control over ourselves and how we're going to respond to this situation. So sometimes the law intervenes. You know, right now in Houston, we have to wear a mask every time we go into any establishment, whether it's the hardware store or the, you know, grocery store, Target, wherever. You have to wear a mask. I don't know what the enforcement is like. They just kind of tightened down, locked down on us a little bit more. So I think enforcement's going to be a little more aggressive right now. But yeah, as I was thinking about this, and what triggered it was I read this Facebook post because I'm on Facebook way too much. Right now, I admit it. I'm on Facebook way too much. But I read this Facebook post, and it was this beautiful expression of love and gratitude. And there was this overwhelming, just heart-opening experience shared. And the person sharing it was brought to tears. And I thought, you know, I don't cry very much. What's up with that? You know, is there something wrong with me? Do I need to look at myself a little bit deeper, go a little bit deeper and figure out why I'm not touched in the same way, even though I have a similar experience? And what I realized is we're all so different. And all of us have a place in this world. And we're all here to play our roles, whether you're a warrior, whether you're a lover, whether you're a healer, whether you are a change maker, whether you are a radical protester, all of it. We all have a role to play, and not everybody is here to play the same role. Does that make sense? We all have our lanes we're here to be in. Some of us are teachers, some of us are leaders, some of us are followers, some of us are healers, some of us are bakers, child caregivers. We all have our lane. Some of us are here to invoke change. President Trump, he's a change maker. Regardless of whether you like him or hate him, he's doing his job. He came in here to shake things up and create change, and man, he's doing it. And he doesn't care if he's popular or not. So, you know, that's an example, right? People are so polarized. You hate the guy or you love the guy. But let's just take the judgment out of it and be like, this guy is making some change. I mean, I don't know how it's all going to shake out, but our country will be changed through his leadership one way or another. So I guess what I'm asking people to do is really to step back and observe your judgment around situations and accept that people who are challenging us and evoking emotional triggers and responses in us are doing that because they agreed to play that role for us. And it's really a gift, even if it feels awful, even if you feel angry, if you feel challenged, and you know what? The higher the charge, emotional charge, the more serious that issue is for you to look at. The deeper you should go in your self-exploration around it, because the more you're triggered, so the level that you're triggered to really determines how deep that issue is within you. You know, I used to get triggered a ton by my kids. I did. Because they never listened to me. Ever. It would drive me crazy. It would drive me crazy. If I said, you know, the sky is blue, they'd be like, no, it's not. You know, or if I said, you should think about this, they'd be like, I don't know, you have no idea what you're talking about. You know, my kids just refused. They just fought me tooth and nail throughout so much of their childhoods. And it used to drive me crazy, right? But guess what I realized? They were the signposts. They were doing that, fulfilling their role in their contract to show up for me and teach me something about myself. And that lesson for me was, and it took years, that I need to allow them to be who they are and live their best life, whatever that looks like for them. So they would just trigger the shit out of me, and vice versa, right? Because I'm trying to control them, they're fighting me, and we would drive each other crazy and go round and round and tangle. But ultimately, it all came back to me. Like I was not learning the lesson I needed to learn. I finally got it, and we all get along great, thank God. It took me years, but that's just like an example, right? That's a microcosm of the macrocosm. So if you are feeling very strongly about something, good for you. Honor your truth, speak your truth, and do whatever you feel is aligned for you in this situation and circumstance. But also at the same time, understand that we all have different roles to play in this world. You know, some people are here to create change and stir the pot and create discord and destruction. And those people are the change makers, and they're fearless, and they don't care what people think. Those people are going to fight for what they believe in, whether we think it's right or wrong. And we need to recognize that every single thing serves a purpose. And every single circumstance is an opportunity for us to show up as our highest and best self in response. And also to do our own inner exploratory work and figure out, what is it really that's happening inside of me? Why am I really feeling this way? Why am I so emotionally charged around this situation, right? And let's try to show up with some compassion for each other. Let's try to come together and be kind to each other. And I hope you guys will think about it. I hope you'll understand that, you know, we're all here together on the planet, and we need to be more tolerant of each other and accept people for who they are and what they're doing. And maybe understand that the best thing we can do is to continue to show up as our highest and best selves and not judge. I'm not going to lie. I've been working on judgment for like 10 years. Judgment is probably something I'm going to be working on myself for the rest of my life. That and my ego. Those two things are so hard to tame. And I just keep trying to wrestle the keys away from my ego. So it's not, driving this show, not in charge of this show. I am. I'm driving the car here. But every once in a while it sneaks in and tries to take my keys, But anyway, I hope you all know that you're doing a great job. Keep showing up. Keep showing up. Some days are going to be better than others. Be kind to yourselves. And get curious. Get curious about why you're feeling this or that. Why are you feeling emotionally charged about something? And what is that really about for you? And, message me. Because I'd love to hear if you're having a revelation or you're uncovering or unpacking something about yourself right now. You're all going to make it. I know that for sure. And I hope you all have an incredible day. Thanks so much for joining me. And if you liked my video, please feel free to share it. Share it around. Share the love. Anyway, I'll talk to you all later. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, you guys. Bye.